Hi, this is Michael Spokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I want to speak about the things to note when organizing a conference. Now, we have spoken yesterday about the theme of a conference, but I want to speak a little bit on the things that you need to note when you're organizing a conference. Now, a conference is very serious, and I'm sure many of you would have known that it is very important to take it serious. And therefore, there are things that you need to note when you're organizing a conference that you cannot ignore. And when you do those, therefore, you're making your conference to be worthwhile. And that's very important. So therefore, we cannot ignore the fact that we need to make our conferences worthwhile. We need to make them actually appealing to people that are coming to attend. And it becomes worth actually of our money as well. It becomes return on investment. We can see that, and becomes worthwhile of what we're investing in this particular conference. And I'm saying this because I know there are people that organize conferences for the sake of organizing conferences. But I want to emphasize that if you start to take some hints on what we are teaching right now and look at some things that you need to note while you're organizing a conference and apply those, you're going to start to see some fruit or you're going to see some results out of your conference. The first thing that I want to start with is make sure you worked out your budget adequately. Make sure that you work out your budget adequately, because remember that conference is not for free. It's not cheap to organize a conference. And many of the ministers that are listening to us right now would testify to this, because conferences are not cheap. Remember, when you organize a conference, one, you must make sure that you've got a venue. That's number one, and that is to be paid off. You definitely need to have instruments that you're going to be using there, and that is money to be spent. You're going to need to have every amenity that is necessary there, like water. You're going to need to have some also things that you need, like towels and so on, that you're using. But also, I want to emphasize that another cost is the speakers that you're inviting. The people that are going to speak on the day. Those are people that are not coming cheap. They're not people that are coming for free. And remember that they are coming there, but they need petrol to arrive. Some of them might be flown in through an aeroplane or flights that you've booked to them. And some of them need accommodation as well, which would mean that you might need to book hotels for them. And I'm emphasizing this so that we can open up our eyes to understand that conference is not something that you wake up in the morning and say, I'm organizing a conference. It must be that you have actually applied your mind, it's well thought of, and it's something that you are going to do because you know that you've got budget to do that. And that's very key. Now, if you are going to organize a conference without considering your budget, therefore you're going to be disappointed yourself, because you'll realize that the conferences need money, and therefore you need to plan in advance those budgets and make sure that they are budgets that are equal to that conference. Very, very key. And I must also emphasize the fact that you need to put up an institute organizing committee, good people that are good in attention to detail. And that's very important. Because if it's people that don't attend to details, you're going to find yourself embarrassed in the midst of the people, whereby the organization was so shoddy and not organized properly. And it's going to embarrass you, because poor organization, they're looking back to you as a leader. They're looking back to you as a visionary. And they are wondering, what type of a leader is this? What type of a visionary is this who has actually allowed a mess out of a conference? And that's purely because you didn't actually appoint right people in the committee of organizing. Now, I want to emphasize the fact that you need people that knows how to organize. That's number one. But secondly, you need people that knows how to organize spiritual things as well. Because organization is not just organizing. It's different between organizing a political rally, organizing a party, and it's different than organizing a conference. Because a conference is actually a spiritual setup whereby you need actually people that would understand how to organize spiritual activities. That's very important. Now, a conference, therefore, becomes deeper in meaning when it comes to organizing it, because it is over and above what one would do when they're organizing a political rally. And this is very important to emphasize that you need people that understand what a conference is, people that understand what spiritual activities are like and spiritual events are, so that they can organize it actually with that mind in their head, and they would understand exactly that they need to organize it in a different way than organizing a political activity. Now, it is going to be very important as well that you organize prayers for the conference in time, and therefore that is the reason why I spoke about the organizing committee must be the people that are spiritual, people that understand spiritual events, because if they understand spiritual events, they would understand as well that they're going to need to organize prayer meetings, particularly to pray for this conference in advance, well in advance. So that conference needs to be prayed for. We need to pray for the speakers that are traveling, for their protection. We need to pray for them to be focused and be able to minister, led by the Spirit of God. We need to pray for protection of everyone. We need to pray actually for everything that is taking place, because also the conviction of the Spirit of God upon lives of people, we need to pray for issues like that. If we don't pray thoroughly, the conference becomes like any other political rally. It becomes like any other gathering of the world, which could be just a societal gathering or a community gathering. But when you've prayed for it, the Spirit of the Lord take complete control in a way that you're going to see it differently. Because this is a Christian conference in any case. As I said, it's not a political rally. So therefore, you need to see some spiritual manifestation in a way, or something that will gain people spiritually. And that's very key that we emphasize that as well, that prayers need to be rendered. And therefore, the committee that you've appointed should be able to know that a conference needs to be prayed for, and they must organize those prayer meetings to continue. You need to ensure that your venue is accessible. It is a venue that is easier to access. It's a venue that people can reach there, and the transport is passing by nearer, and people can be able to arrive there. And there are those venues that are hidden in dark places whereby nobody would even know. People will hear the singing, there's music, but they'll still find it difficult to go around following the sound. And that is terrible. So therefore, when you're running a conference, make sure that your venue is accessible. Everybody would know where to go. Everybody would know how to arrive there. But also, I want to give you a hint that when we speak about accessibility, we're speaking about access even to people that are disabled, people that are needing help, people that are having self-help needs. So this is very important that we emphasize that, because there are people that will come with wheelchairs, for instance, coming to access the conference. Don't block them and let them actually find access so that they can be able to attend enjoying it. The amenities or the facilities that we have, which will be your bathrooms as well, let them be accessible to people that are disabled so that we can be able to accommodate them. You're looking at toilets that will be allowing somebody with a wheelchair to access it easily. Let's not shut down people and close them out, but let's make sure that the venue is accessible for all that, because that's the key, because every single person is invited and we expect them to be able to access the venue easily without any struggle. So that is very important that we emphasize that. You need to organize guest speakers in time and make sure that they know in time, make sure that they are confirmed in time. Your guest speakers must not be last-minute invitations. They must be invited in time. They must be able to plan in time. They must be able to organize themselves in time. So therefore, it's very important that the guest speakers are let known about them being speakers in the conference much earlier on than later. And that's very important. So communicate with your guest speakers much more earlier and let them be able to come knowing that they've been invited quite a while back. Send out allocation of days to guest speakers in good time as well, because if you are running a conference over a week, so each one of the speakers need to know which days they're going to be ministering, so well in advance. So you don't need to ambush them and later tell them, while they may not be available on the days that you're allocating them. So therefore, it is very important that we take it from that point and say, from the word go, let them know which days they're going to be doing. If one is going to do a Wednesday, they can actually align themselves to that particular day and be available. And this is the reason sometimes that you find guest speakers not making it, is because they confirmed they are coming, but all of a sudden you don't give them days allocated, and you give them allocated days later. When you give them, they are not available on that particular day. Or sometimes the days that they are choosing themselves to be available, you've already allocated to other people, or you have already made those days unavailable. And that's very key that we emphasize that allocate your days much more earlier on, so that your guest speakers may organize themselves earlier and don't disorganize you at all. Make sure that all your guest speakers are crystal clear with the conference theme as well, so that they know exactly what the conference theme is all about. That's very important, so that they can be in line with the conference theme. And we have seen many speakers that come unprepared, and some come with their favorite messages and sermons that they've preached somewhere, purely because they never knew the theme, or they are getting naughty here and preaching something that is outside the theme that you've given them. So therefore, make the theme crystal clear to every speaker. Emphasize the fact that you expect everybody to be in line with the theme. That's very important. Because we have had the ministers that says, no, themes are restricting the move of the Holy Spirit. Who told you that? And because that's actually ignorant to say that. Because the Holy Spirit is actually very careful to say, as God, he wants people to be taught. So if you have put a theme to teach people something, God appreciates that. And there's no way God is going to be aggrieved by you teaching people a certain teaching that is needed by the people based on the level of their maturity. That's very key. So therefore, set up the theme. Make sure that your speakers know the theme, so that they can be able to address the people based on the theme, and not wishy-washy to the people, and to make the people not to gain much out of it. So this is very important. So please make sure that your speakers know the theme well in advance. Send out invites to other churches around you in time. So if you want people to come and support you, you want other churches to come and attend, it is going to be very important, therefore, that you invite them well in advance. Because people have got other activities that they're attending to. People are having also other commitments that they are chasing after. So you cannot actually take it light and expect everybody to be available when you want them to be. So therefore, be careful that you don't actually enforce people and think that they will be available at the time that you want them at any given time. People are busy in life. So therefore, make sure that you invite them in time. Make sure that they know that you have invited them. Make sure that they know, and you remind them to an extent that they will be able to make time for this particular conference and never miss it. This very, very key that we emphasize that as well. So make sure that the invites are out in time. Advertising should be brought or be thoroughly done, and must be done well in advance as well. And advertise it, whether it's on social media, whether you want to put posters around, and or you want to have a PR, somebody who is advertising for you. It is very key as well that you do it well in advance. As I said, people are busy, so therefore you need to do it in advance, so that people can make sure that they make time for this particular conference in time. They can plan themselves, make sure that they come. That's very key. So don't take it for granted that people will come, but make sure that you invite them much more earlier, and you make sure that you invite them in time, advertise the conference, and so that they can be able to come. And I want to also say, let the contact person be contactable. We're talking about now your contact person in the church, and the organizer maybe of the conference is the person who's the contact person. Let them be contactable. Let it be people that are having numbers that are contactable. Let it be people that don't switch off their phones. These are the people that will be contactable each time everyone want to contact them, including directions to the conference, because you cannot ignore and take it for granted that everybody would know and arrive in time. But make sure that you are preparing a way of having somebody who is contactable, that they can call that person at any given time. Remember, there are times when people want to ask some questions, particularly the speakers as well. They might want to ask some questions, clarify the theme, or as I said, direction as well. Very, very important that you do so, that you are contactable as an organizer or somebody who is an organizer of this conference. This is very important. And I want to end up here today, your host, Maikona Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and being part of this great topic. And I hope you've learned quite a bit out of it. So please also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you click that notification button so that you're notified each time we post a video and you can learn out of it. But also befriend our Facebook platform under Church Governance Solutions. So please join that group and make sure that you're part of it, because we are posting a lot of material there. We're posting a lot of videos there, and you will learn out of it and become a better person. Allow me right now to end it up here and say, your host, Maikona Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and being part of this great topic. Allow me to say cheers for now.